Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Atlanta Sports Special. Today, we'll be talking about the devastating, unnecessary loss that was Sunday Night Football against the 49ers and discuss a little bit into tonight's first game, Wednesday, the 22nd, of the Atlanta Hawks versus the Toronto Raptors. On that, touch a little bit of some other sports going on, but ultimately, it's going to be a lot of talk about the Falcons and how disappointing they are. So, as you know, thanks for listening and let's get it!
Yeah! ATL on the rise, you know how we do. Beach tree dreams, dirty birds flying through. From the gridiron to the diamond, courts to the pitch. We reppin' ATL sports, every team, every niche. ATL, where the flames ignite. From Truist Park to the bins at night. Dreams take flight, Hawks soar high. United we stand, reaching for the sky.
What's going on, everybody? It is Kinney. I'm here with Kraemer, and before we get started today, a little this day in the A as we flash back to 2019. Atlanta United, wouldn't you believe it, played Toronto FC at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and drew a 71,874 spectator crowd. By the way, this is the new attendance record and has standed for an MLS match, thanks to the absolute dogs we got on the team over there in the Atlanta United. At least back then. Obviously, a different season. I feel like they had a Twitter and Instagram post that was almost apologizing for sucking this past season, which was kind of funny. But you know what? I haven't been to a game. I need to ride with him. Kraemer, he's the voice of the United here. We have higher things to get excited about. And listen, Kraemer, I'll let you go ahead and say hey to everybody, and then I'll kind of start us off on a lighter note before we get into it.
What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a better week than me.
Probably not, based on the teams that we've had to deal with and the time we've had to think about this game. Before we do it, I saw this video on YouTube, and I was very interested to do it with Kraemer because I just really want to hear his opinion on it. I figure other people might as well. It's a blind ranking of 5 football movies. And so we're going to do that here to start off. So I'm going to give you 5 movies, Kraemer. You put them in order, not knowing which one's coming next. So that way you can kind of, we'll see how you rank these, not knowing that.
All right, let's see it.
Okay. The first one, We Are Marshall.
You're gonna
real
start with it.
Emotional banger.
That's crazy. I don't know what's coming next, so I feel like I have to put that at like a solid. I'm gonna play it safe and put that at 3.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a solid spot to put it. We're
It's
going
the
to
first
go.
one.
It's the first one. It's a great movie, too. Very emotional. McConaughey with the whole like weird accent thing is always off-putting, but yeah, that's another time, another day. The next one, Facing the Giants.
Yeah. I think you got something else loaded in the chamber, so I'm gonna go. People are gonna hate me. I'm gonna go with 5.
No, I think that's actually totally fair. The acting in that movie, despite its great touching sentiment, is horrendous.
Bad.
The football scenes are good. Like they did a great job with those. But anytime someone had to have like a dramatic off-scene moment, not very good. So I think that's totally fair. So we got 3 and 5 are taken. We got 4, 2, and 1 left to go here. All right. Friday Night Lights.
I still think you got something else loaded in the chamber, so I'm going to put that at a solid 2. I think
that's a great spot for it.
Yeah, solid 2. I mean, classic, absolute classic when it comes to football movies. I feel like that's one of the go-to movies people talk about when they think about. I mean, between that and the TV show, it's like you got everything going on.
Yeah, actually, I didn't really get into the TV show too much. And maybe that's like my own fault. I felt like it had more to do with like the high school drama, which I didn't care about.
Yeah.
Whereas like the movie was very football. You know what I'm saying? Like let booby spin. But okay, cool. So we got 2, 3, and 5 picked. Your last 2 are where to go? Invincible, the Vince Papale movie with
I'm gonna, you know what? Just for the thrill of it, I'm gonna put that at 4, and I'm gonna just
write it out.
I'm gonna write out the last one has to be my one. Let's see it. Let's hear it.
Any Given Sunday.
Okay.
I'm cool with that. Which is of all those movies, I would absolutely say Any Given Sunday is. I wanted to put Remember the Giants or Remember the Titans. Remember the Giants. I wanted to put Remember the Titans in here, but it's kind of a cop out because it's like honestly one of the best football movies, maybe movies ever. And I feel like that's automatic number one for people, whereas Any Given Sunday is a sneaky number one best football movie of the ones I just mentioned.
Can I go ahead and give you my honorable mention that I think is by far my favorite football movie of all time, and this
Yeah,
might
if you
be
say Draft Day, I'm gonna like throw up all over my
absolutely
keyboard.
not. I mean, as much as I'd like to credit Arian Foster with his amazing acting abilities, I would love to go ahead and put my one football movie. I probably watched it 1,000 times in my childhood. Is the Adam Sandler Longest Yard.
Yeah, man, so good. It
It
really is one of the dude, the contact, the football scenes are all so electric.
Every part of it hit for my childhood. The fact it had Adam Sandler, it had Terry Crews in it, it had the comedy, it had the football.
Dude, it
but
had
also,
Nelly in it, dude. We had the voice of the South and hip hop.
when that came out, I was in my prime WWE watching days. So
Yeah.
it had Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It had, it had all the people I've wanted to see. It had comedians, wrestlers, and like older football players in it too. So it was just it was great. And they had the credit to the original one as well with Burt Reynolds in it.
Yeah, exactly. And he did
That
great.
was amazing.
That movie is so iconic. And you're absolutely right. It's not like a hot take for that to be number one, because that really is like a top 3 football movie.
think it
Again, when I
touches-
made this list, I wanted to make it hard enough to where like we didn't give you the absolute bangers.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's really good. In fact, I think if you looked at your list too, you would be very happy with where you placed all those. Maybe mine. I actually love Invincible. I think it's a great movie. The story of Vince Papale, really cool.
Mhm.
Really cool true story. Fun film. A little dramatic at times. There's a ton of other bangers too if we go look at it, like Rudy. Actually, the movie that came out, American Underdog, was pretty good, about Kurt Warner. But Greater, Paterno, golly, there's a ton of good football movies, man. We got a plethora. What a time to be alive. Getting a bit of Waterboy. I mean, how can we not mention Waterboy?
They really don't. I don't know the last like good football movie that came out.
I think it was American Underdogs. I think it came out in like 2021.
Warner Story? Yeah, absolutely.
It
That's
was
fair.
good, dude. It was a pretty good movie, like for football's sake.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool. Well, now that was a lot of fun, good smiles and energy.
Yeah, at
Let's
least I
get
got
into
to
this.
smile for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get into this disaster of a past week here. Falcons travel to San Francisco, play these losers who have a mascot whose name is Sourdough, and he doesn't look anything like a piece of bread. And they drop an absolute dud of a game, 20-10. Shining glimmers of hope in the first half, I would say. Ultimately, Zach Robinson is a freaking loser. And we got blinded, man. We got the blinders put on us when he put on that performance he did last week, because he really showed me something. I'm like, oh my God, on the field, we're doing things that are very special. Like, we're putting guys in motion, getting different movements, different route trees where guys are breaking into open space. And then we come out and run plays where the 49ers DBs after the game are going, yeah, I knew if Drake London goes in motion, I just literally stretch to the edge of the field, and he almost picks it off because he knows what we're going to do. That's terrible.
It's absolutely unacceptable. Like, my blood has been boiling the past couple days just thinking about this team. We were originally supposed to record last night, but some unforeseen circumstances happened, not to mention the software issues we've been having with our recording stuff. But the fact that like we didn't record last night was probably for the best, because I had just got done working out, still had the pre-workout flowing through the veins, and I just was in the shower thinking about this football team and progressively getting angrier and angrier. And I was just going to probably hop on here and yell for the first like 5 minutes. It was bad. I was shaking thinking about just how stupid we are every year, where we think that, oh my gosh, we make a huge win, especially in a primetime game against the Bills.
Two primetime wins. I mean, beat the Commanders, then we come back and beat the Bills. It's like, man, we're riding a high of highs.
I guess thinking, asking to win 3 primetime games is maybe asking a lot, especially from a team like the Atlanta Falcons. But the thing is that, like, we were having everyone watching us too, it being a Sunday night primetime game. We just beat the Bills. People are like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a fantastic game. You know, the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey versus Bijan Robinson, battle of the running backs. And unfortunately, that's exactly what this game was. I mean, this and lack for a better term, this was just a rugby game.
Yeah.
I mean, it
was laterals and running straight forward.
And then the occasional wide receiver screen to Kyle Pitts, which I get it, you know, if that works, it can work, but I'm so sick and tired of seeing it. And why are we doing plays like that on 3rd and long?
There was a specific play, and we have a lot to digest from this game. There's a specific play when it was 3rd and 6.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcons are driving. It's when we ended up going for it on 4th down before that and did not convert on that pass that was almost picked for a touchdown, and then almost caught by Drake. So a lot of emotions on that play where we literally just hand the ball off up the gut on 3rd and 6, which has not been working. The 49ers, amongst all their injuries, seemingly could stop any run we threw at them, which was very frustrating. And our offensive line picked a bad week to have their absolute worst game of the season. Elijah Wilkinson, unfortunately, who has played really great in the absence of McCray, he got busted on pass coverage, on run blocking, on pass blocking too. He had a bad one. But that run too, it was like, are we serious? Like, are we a serious football team that we don't trust Michael Penix to throw the ball on 3rd and 6? I mean, obviously he was pretty under pressure, but he also looks like he can't move. And I thought part of the fun about him was he might be able to create out of the pocket a little bit. I know he has like 2 fake knees, but
I mean, just the whole Michael Penix thing is one thing, right? It's a young quarterback trying to kind of figure out what his dynamic and what his real game script is for himself in the NFL, because, you know, this isn't college anymore and he's not playing the, you know, whatever schedule Washington used to have. He's playing all these guys are professionals.
There's not a bad team, minus maybe the one we're about to play, which we'll get into later. And I still don't feel good about it. Yeah, you're right. He's probably settling in. When we got to look at his stat line, too, I mean, the completion percentage is not great, but he threw 21 for 38 with 241 yards and a touchdown. Realistically, though, minus the completion percentage, tell me Kraemer, but I think, like, if he throws for 240 yards and a touchdown each week, like, we should be in a good spot. Like, that's kind of where we want to live with him, because we should be scoring rushing touchdowns of different variety with Bijan.
I just cannot believe, like, the fact that I understand we have Bijan Robinson. Debatably, in my opinion, there's no debate. He is one of the best football players in the entire league.
Oh, yeah.
But if we are so one-dimensional and only give him the ball on all these plays, like, if they get those stops on Bijan, we're screwed if we're not figuring something out. And that's exactly what happened. They stopped Bijan, and essentially that's it. They were able to cover Drake. The big issue, too, was it was a lack of variety of who we were passing the ball to, which I get it. We have like a pretty big 3 with Bijan, Drake, and Pitts. However, if you're able to stop Drake and Kyle Pitts tied the franchise record for the most receptions by a tight end in this game. And he he looked amazing, and he was in a mismatch almost the entire game, and we completely stopped with it halfway through. We just stopped really focusing on that mismatch that he had and stopped giving him the ball on some of these.
We gave him the ball.
plays.
We started just throwing 2 yard behind the line of scrimmage tunnel screens to him instead of using him as blocking, which he's been great at too. It's like, man, your tight end has got to be doing some blocking if you're going to throw these wide receiver screens. And I agree with you entirely too, Kraemer. When we came out of the gates in that game, in that opening drive, I'm like, holy cow, Kyle Pitts is going to be a handful for these 49ers, because I thought he was open every single play, it looked like. And if he wasn't, he's still bigger. It's like, all right, great.
I mean, the first couple drives, there was those shines of light from Mooney as well. And Mooney was catching some of these big passes. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is great. This okay. We understand what we're doing. We understand like how to expose some of this backfield in the 49ers defense. However, it's like we got complacent somehow. And then okay, so first of all, we're still getting penalties on delay of games.
Man,
what's up with that? What are we doing? How does that happen after 7 weeks of football? How are we
It
still
really
doing
bothers
this?
me and this is one thing gasses me up about this coaching staff. When we get a penalty like that, which is a total just like brain melter, because you guys know the play. Like Zach Robinson's on the sideline. He's supposed to be getting the play in. When we get those penalties, everyone on our team looks like a deer in headlights, including Raheem Morris. Like when the camera goes over to him, he's got bubble gum hanging outside of his mouth. Like he looks distraught. And to me, like, I don't know, maybe I'm too passionate about this kind of stuff. But like if I'm a head coach and our team does something that boneheaded to kill a drive, I'm going to be losing my mind at the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, who should be the ones to be on the same page, to make a scene about it, to be like, hey, we can't do this again. Like this is getting really upsetting. And it makes Raheem look like he has no idea what's going on. I don't know if that's the case, but man, does it look that way when these things are going south during the game. And then he gives that press conference like, got to get more. We got to get better. You know, we got to coach better. Like, yeah, you do. And you needed to coach better the past 6 games too. We know this isn't new.
We're giving Bijan the ball on certain plays, right? But then we're 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and we're like, hey, let's just throw a screen or something like that.
Dude, it was a 3-yard out route to Drake London after he got put in motion, and the DB literally said on film, we already watched this, and Shanahan and the team had been like, hey, if this happens, they're just going to throw it to Drake on an out route. It's the only option.
This isn't college football.
No.
Like you can't expose somebody like that on a screen. This is the NFL, the National Football League. You give it to Bijan Robinson. I mean, this is the exact same thing that lost the Seahawks a Super Bowl with not giving it to Marshawn Lynch up the middle. I mean, what are we talking about? This is absurd. And did you see Morris's press conference where they were like, so last week you claimed Bijan Robinson is the best player in the NFL, but you didn't trust him on 4th and 2 to run up the middle,
right,
to get the first down. So explain that. And he goes, well, you know, sometimes you just got to think of certain plays to try.
Yeah, he had no idea what was going on.
No, it was
idea.
A bunch of mumbo jumbo he was explaining. And it was, if you've ever watched a murder documentary or anything, it sounds like the guy who's clearly guilty completely feeding a bush around the question, because he's like, no, man, I can't be blamed for this. Is he? I understand he brought Zach Robinson over from the Rams, right? Dude, you got to shorten the leash. I'm so sick and tired. Zach Robinson, this is my official claim that we need to come for his head. If we do not blow Miami out, we'll get into that later, but I want blood. I need to see this offense cook in the way that we've seen it cook before. It is so drastically apparent how much we need to win this week. First of all, going against a bad team, that is Miami. But the fact that we just got hosed the way we did in one of the most boring Sunday night games we've seen in a while. I mean,
that's a stinker, dude. When you have the whole world watching and like the first half is what it was, it's like, it doesn't get me stoked up to go watch the second half. I mean, it does for me because we're Falcons fans, but like that's a chance to win some clout across just the NFL in general. And we've done it. We did it 2 weeks in a row. Like the Commanders game, scoring over 30 points was awesome. Beating the Bills, that adds credit. Like all these things were rising. So like if the Falcons go 3-0 in primetime, people are going to be like, these are the real deal Falcons. That Panthers game was in the past. That was a fluke. Now it doesn't look like a fluke. It looks like Zach Robinson has personality disorder and he decides when he wants to be an OC and when he wants to fake narcolepsy like we talked about.
I think Zach Robinson I don't even know if he can show me anything. I need like 4 consistent games in a row of where we are dominating and scoring points and getting first downs. It is like if we are 3rd and 5+, I'm just assuming we're about to punt the ball because he just cannot convert those. He absolutely has the weapons to do so, and he fails every time. The man is so delusional. I just don't understand. Like there's no way he was running the same stuff. I get it. He had Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and everything like that, and Kyron Williams, and he had some beast and some good people over on the Rams, but. I mean, and the Rams were fairly decent for a long time. It blows my mind that he has a young team that is capable of so much more, and he just keeps them in the shadows almost and makes them not live up to their full potential. And I think, there's rumors about him potentially taking the Oklahoma job next year.
Dude, go take it. I'd be so happy. I'll be the biggest Oklahoma State fan on the planet if he goes to be that coach over there.
Get out of my city. I'm sick of you, Zach
Especially
Robinson.
with Mike McDizzle most likely getting fired from Miami. I think that guy needs to sit in an Atlanta front room and focus on the offense and have his crazy genius offensive brain go crazy with the team we got.
He would love this team. I mean, the things he would be able to do with Bijan and a real left-handed quarterback and not Tua.
Tua was a real left-handed quarterback for a while. He is unfortunately now.
Well, when your brains get turned into mashed potatoes over the years, it's
and you also have the Miami Dolphins. Their staff has been notorious for injuries. Now, obviously, head injuries are different, but people don't like playing for them for that reason.
But yeah, my official statement: Zach Robinson, get the hell out of Dodge. We don't want you here anymore. I'll speak for myself. I don't know, but everything I've seen from the community, from the fan base, we are sick of it. We're sick of seeing you. Also, so Zach Robinson, I'm officially putting in the hot seat. Get him off my team. You have probably one of the best young potential teams in the NFL offensively right now, and the fact of what you are doing with them right now is a disgrace to the team you are coaching.
Yeah, and I think what it shows with Zach Robinson and what we're seeing now is like he was blanketed under the Sean McVay genius. And Sean McVay is not like the world's biggest genius, but he's a good football mind. And I think Zach Robinson was very comfortable playing under a very, very just X's and O's good football coach with Sean McVay. And then you come over to Raheem Morris, who is absolutely the script for a player's coach. Like, he's great in the locker room. He's great with players, but he's not as on paper statistically like X's and O's guy. And now you see this guy fumbling around trying to figure it out. It's like, man, did you just get blanketed by McVay? That's kind of what I think. It's like you got copped out by McVay. We all bought the sauce that was you. You come over here and you suck. Like that's what I see.
There's two major plays that lost us this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with, again, what is with us at the end of
oh man, I'm telling you,
the second quarter. We're
the worst 2-minute drill team in the league.
What is going on there? We get
Darnell Mooney's got to go out of bounds. No brainer.
But then we get the intentional grounding with the 10-second runoff. Raheem Morris claims that he thought there was 11 seconds left on the clock. And that's what his excuse was. He goes, there's 11 seconds. We should have had that 1 second to kick a field goal.
We shouldn't have, because Michael Penix threw a moon ball out of bounds. It took, the clock stops dead when that ball touches the ground, not when it crosses the line. And Penix tried to get out of bounds, and he threw an absolute skyrocket. It's like, dude, if we're gonna take an intentional grounding, which probably put us out of field goal range anyway, because we're afraid to kick a 52-yarder as well to tie a football game, which is, again, in the NFL, you have to have a kicker that can kick a 52-yard field goal with at least a 75% clip. That's actually bad in the NFL too. So we don't trust our kicker. Our coaches don't trust themselves, and our players aren't coached up on, hey, we have one timeout, so it'd be really great if you got out of bounds, so that if something stupid happens, like taking a intentional grounding not out of the tackle box, because we're going to run a dumb design play, then at least we have our timeout to burn, so we don't have a 10-second runoff. It is infuriating to Kraemer, because it happens every week.
Every week there's, and it's especially those games we lose that are pivotal moments that cause us to lose the momentum that we were building upon. And going into the half without those 3 points was detrimental. I mean,
yeah, it was an energy killer in the locker room too. Because it's like, man, you're down on the 20-yard line. That's an absolute point situation. And then, again, we just shoot ourselves in the foot. Poor coaching, poor performance from players. I think in the Darnell Mooney situation is totally different than the Drake London one. Because Drake was stretching, still support Drake's decision, that he was an inch away from a touchdown.
Yep.
And by the time he saw that open field, he clearly decided, like, I'm going for the touchdown because it's right there.
He thought he just had that extra step available for him.
And he did. If he didn't put his leg down and just stretched and dove, he would have had a touchdown. So that one's a different situation. Darnell had two guys around him. He had a decision to go out of bounds, Like, what are you doing cutting that back in with two guys around you? You're not going to bust it. That's also your first catch in like 4 weeks. So, don't act like you're some world beater right now. Darnell can't take the top off. He got open, and he made a great catch, too.
He had 1,000 yards last year. He had 1,000 yards last year. So there's just no excuse with that.
And I want to talk about something, Kraemer, that's different from coaching. Because, like, we can spiral here and be miserable all day.
But there's that second thing that lost us the game.
My bad.
The second thing that lost us this game was that huge moment. The score is 13-10.
Yep.
It's 3rd and 15. We have 10 freaking dudes on the field. We have 10 dudes on the field, and they have a player that is cut from the same cloth as Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
And what do? We go out there with 10 freaking guys on the field, and they do a check down to Christian McCaffrey, 3rd and 15, get that first down. Christian McCaffrey eventually walks in for that touchdown. Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
Absolutely unacceptable. And that comes down to your head coach, too, because, listen, a defensive coordinator needs to be getting people adjusted and right. If you're Raheem Morris and you're seemingly not doing anything on the sideline, can you at least, just count to 11 and make sure we have the right players on the field and call your timeouts appropriately, which he can't do because he's shown that he can't do it.
He has no idea what to call a timeout. He has
no idea what the game clock is either, because how many times are we going to run into a situation where it's 3rd and 4 and we get to delay a game and we don't call a timeout? And it's oh, yeah, great. Well, no, we can handle 3rd and 9. We've proved we're really good in 3rd down and long situations. No, we're not. We're terrible.
If you go back and look at every time he has almost called a timeout in those kind of clutch or, in those very detrimental moments, he lets at least 5 seconds almost every time run off before he calls the timeout too. And I saw that when he called the timeout with Darnell Mooney not stepping out of bounds. Maybe he didn't realize he didn't step out of bounds, and he was even flabbergasted by that. But he let 5 seconds run off the clock, and that's just you can't do that. Before we get off the coaching stuff, I just need to go and say this as a sad Falcons fan, right? So in the offseason of 2024, we're in a carousel of trying to figure out, we fire Arthur Smith, needed to, and we're going around, we're shopping. Let me tell you some of the guys we interviewed. Mike Vrabel, head coach now for the New England Patriots. Winner of their division right now, 5-2. Ben Johnson, new head coach for the Bears. The Bears have significantly a worse offense than the Falcons, in my own opinion, and I'm not trying to be biased here, but I think a lot of people who watch the NFL would agree. Ben Johnson with the Bears, with Caleb Williams, 4-2. Mike McDonald, who ended up going to the Seahawks, also 4-2. That defense looks amazing. The Seahawks look incredible, and that's with Sam Darnold as their quarterback.
Underappreciated. Sam Darnold.
Underappreciated.
Yeah.
And then Jim Harbaugh, who is now the head coach of the Chargers, 3-4 or 4-3 in their division. Given that is one of the toughest divisions in sports, if you don't,
100%.
if you don't include, the Las Vegas Raiders. From looking at, and I guess if you want to throw the fifth person in there, Bill Belichick, but we're not going to talk about that because,
dude, I didn't want Bill. I don't think anybody really did at the time. We kind of saw that, he was the product of.
But anyway,
Brady's son. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I didn't need that. I don't need his girlfriend in our locker room.
Dude. Oh my God.
Insane. Anyway. Those 4 coaches have, in my opinion, I guess other than potentially the Chargers, they all do not have the skill set and the young talent that I believe the Atlanta Falcons have. And to see all of them so successful right now, and of course, out of 5 people, or out of 6, I guess, counting Raheem Morris, of course, the Falcons front office chooses the worst out of the bunch, or he just so happens to be.
He was the worst.
Ridiculous.
He was the worst. He has a losing coaching record when he came in. He continues to have a losing coaching record. I think he has a win percentage sub 45% now, sub 40%.
Yep.
Even. And we knew that. We had seen it in Tampa Bay. We had seen it in other places. This wasn't a shock to anybody. And it would have been an okay hire if we had surrounded him with an offensive and defensive He has a defensive coordinator now. Jeff Ulbrich is the only reason this team has
staying in games is the only reason. If you just watch defensive highlights of Falcons games, you would think, holy crap, this team has to have a winning record.
Right. And I mean, dude, he's drawing up great blitzes. He's getting pressure on quarterback at an alarming rate, especially not even for Falcons, for the NFL. So you can't blame it on the guy handling the defense. You can blame it on the offense. Now, I want to talk about a few things here, Kraemer, that are not focused on coaching, that are problems right now for the Falcons.
I'm just going to say the last thing about coaching.
You can tell Kraemer still like he did from last night.
Upset. I'm so upset with these guys.
Let it all out. This is your vent hour.
Zach Robinson needs to be held accountable. Raheem, I understand. That's your buddy. You brought him over from L.A. That's cool and all. But you got to show that man tough love. And if you're not going to do it, I want you out too. I'm putting both of them in the hot seat. And if
I totally agree with that.
If something doesn't change, and I said this, I mean, I sound like a broken record, sounding like after the Panthers game too. But if you guys don't take your head out of your ass right now and figure out and show us the team that we all saw against the Bills, if you guys don't do that, I expect one of you guys to be fired in the coming weeks.
Yeah, especially with the Dolphins game coming up. This one is like, if it's close or we fall into another pattern of crappy play calling and 3-and-outs, or we shouldn't be in situations like with the Dolphins. We shouldn't be in situations where we're even in 2nd and long, let alone 3rd and long. 49ers, it's also tough to say because like their defense is normally good. They had almost half their defense was out with injuries.
Yeah.
So we were playing a very beaten down 49ers team that made us look like trash.
We lost to that big-bodied, whole milk looking boy, Mac Jones. Disrespectful to our team. Disrespectful to the city. It was a revenge game against Kyle Shanahan. And we walked in there and let them just have their way with us. Unacceptable. Just totally unacceptable.
Yeah, dude, and it really does piss me off. Anytime I see Shanahan's stupid face over there, of course he runs the ball now when we're playing the Falcons instead of when we had the Falcons. And I will say this too, a little bit of a concern for me going forward. I really hope this doesn't happen. The way that we're using Bijan, because we don't have wide receiver depth, and that's just a blatant fact for this team. Like Casey Washington, probably a really great person, is not very versatile at a wide receiver position. And he seems to be our wide receiver 3, and is especially going to be our wide receiver 3 now because Ray apparently just doesn't want to play for the Falcons, which we'll talk about after this. That's not a good wide receiver 3. And with Darnell Mooney being half on injuries or half dropping passes, we're in a really hurting spot there. So, like, is Zach Robinson a little bit limited? Yes. But also, like, what do we have, 2 weeks left before the trade deadline hits? I've heard no rumors of a wide receiver getting picked up by the Falcons front office. And if our front office is sitting looking at the product on the field and saying, oh, no, dude, we're good. We got our wide receivers. They are high on some stuff that I can't even begin to talk about. This is a family show. It really frustrates me looking into that. And again, we're seeing, and I know you could say we're riding the emotions of a loss, like calling for people's heads and all this, but like, this has been 2 years of Zach Robinson. Like, we're in year 2. It's the Raheem Morris show is not working either. If this pattern continues, if the Falcons go win sub 9 games, and even 9 games, in my opinion, like we have to have a double-digit win with the schedule we've had and the success we've had against some of the tougher opponents. You got to take advantage of this, and we're seemingly not looking like we're going to. Yeah, like you said, there's going to be accountability. It will happen. I mean, it's a matter of time and how long these guys buy their jobs. My hope is that I'm still rooting for Zach Robinson and Raheem to figure it out. Truthfully, like I'd love for them to put it together, but they're not showing me they can.
They've shown us that they know what to do. They've shown us
sometimes
shown us like sparks of like, hey, you guys clearly have some sort of concept and understanding of what you guys have, and you know certain plays to call for who can be the most beneficial to gaining yards. And then the next week, you just show me you don't know anything anymore.
Yeah.
It completely baffles my mind. And Kenny, you know, for the audio listeners, I'm over here wearing my Atlanta Braves World Series beanie because I just needed to be reminded what it was like to taste greatness.
Yeah.
Because that was just a good time to know that, like, hey, you know what? Atlanta sports, we have good teams. but we just never can seem to get coaching or front office right, and the Falcons prove that year after year. I'm done talking about coaching, though. We can't.
All right, let's move away from
We
it.
got
Let's
30 minutes of coach talk.
Let's talk a little bit too about some of the holes. And I know we're really pessimistic. We'll talk about some guys who did well as well. To start with, offensively, to be totally honest, like there really isn't much to talk about who did well. Like Bijan still had over 100 total all-purpose yards, which is great.
Kyle Pitts.
We stopped running him.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, great game. At times, Penix looked great in the pocket when he had a pocket. When he doesn't have a pocket, he's pressured. His statistics are terrible.
Okay. Let's dive into Michael Penix, because the internet was ruthless with him this week.
Yeah, and I think it's somewhat unjustified too. Like the guy's playing with really weak wide receiver core, minus Kyle Pitts and Drake London, who the 49ers did a good job of trying to scheme out in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks panicked. He looks panicked having to go through a third read. Like if his first two reads aren't open, it's like all hell breaks loose back there in the pocket.
I understand when you have Zach Robinson calling the plays that, not everything's going to go your way. But this is really, in those situations, I want to see that leadership from him where he can adjust and make calls from the defense that he's seen and maybe make an audible last minute and kind of take the reins. Because if Zach Robinson's not going to do it, we're going to need that field general out there who should be Michael Penix. But a lot that I saw in this game, and again, I'm not sure if it was game script or if it was just him or what it was a lot of a young guy, get it, new to the league. He wants to make a name for himself. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a lot of me seeing him trying to just every other play make a huge giant play instead of just do your job and get the yards that you need to get a first down. It was a lot of like, let me throw these moon balls, let me throw these big action plays, let me make something spectacular happen. Sometimes just do your job, just be a normal person and give it and trust your offensive weapons to make those plays, because I didn't see a lot of that this past Sunday.
Yeah, there were a few times I can remember too where we did have a check down route that was open for at least 3 or 4 yards, which 3 or 4 yards of play, that's great. Now, we were putting him in positions when he's passing, though, that are 3rd and over 5, so we'll call it 3rd and long. And it's like check down's not going to get his first down. He's trying to be a hero to a degree. And, he needs to work on his touch passes where he can float balls over the linebackers and in between the safeties, because he throws a missile. I mean, the guy's got an absolute howitzer for an arm. But you have to have a variation of what you can throw. That's being young, I hope.
But we know he has legs, and I understand that there might be some caution with that due to his injuries.
I mean, does he have legs, man? Like,
I'm starting to think he doesn't. And
yeah,
we'll talk about injuries in a second because he's on the injury report right now. But this is, absolutely, I just don't get it. You can escape the pocket, you can do these things, and I know that there's an open field ahead of you. Go run the ball. Go try to get out of bounds. Try to do something that gets us positive play instead of dialing it back and still trying to make this absurd throw that isn't even necessary when it's 3rd and 5 like that. We're trying to throw the ball 25 yards on a 3rd and long when it's not, anywhere past the 10-yard marker on our 3rd and long. So I just don't understand what's going through his head. I think that's maybe just the young guy mentality of
it looks like panic, to be totally honest with you. And I think like the Falcons, I can't say what's going on at practice, but like if he's so hurt or so physically restricted by his past injuries that he can't on a rollout play run for 3 yards, like, dude, I've watched Kirk Cousins do that. I've watched Tom freaking Brady run for 3 yards.
We just watched freaking Joe Flacco last week.
Yeah.
Go yard. This man was it wasn't even a designed run play, which, of course, they're not going to do that with a 42-year-old man. And that man went and ran for 26 yards to get the first down.
I really hope that look, and then he got hurt. We don't know when he got hurt, but he has that bone bruise now, which we can get into there. But offensively, dude, just horrible. That's what it comes down to. Like, players didn't, besides Michael Pitts and Bijan doing whatever he could, we stopped running the ball, which was stupid. He only had 14 carries. I mean, that's crazy in a game we're sucking that bad. That we don't start trusting him and getting the offensive line right. But it is what it is. Defensively, I'll say my last negative, which is the Jesse Bates fall off from last season to this one is going to be studied. I've never seen a guy look so confused in coverage. He is making horrible play after horrible play and missed tackle after missed tackle, and that is not what we expected from him this season. And it's the only seeming glaring hole besides linebacker depth that I can see on the defense right now. Obviously, Devon Diablo going out, who is supposed to be a huge help on Christian McCaffrey.
He went out in the first quarter, first couple plays.
Credit to the 49ers for seeing that. And then obviously C-Mac does what he does, especially when he knows there's not a fast, hard-hitting linebacker who really would have done a lot to stop run plays.
Yep.
And they ran that ball right at our backup, who's just not it, unfortunately. I mean, he just played a good not even a good offensive line, decent offensive line with one of the best running backs, probably the best running back still, with Bijan right behind him. So, yeah, I mean, it just kind of stinks. All that was tough. Defensively, though, pass rush still looked great, still got home. Leonard Floyd had some awesome plays in the backfield for TFLs and pressure. Still high on it. We do have a glaring problem, it seems, though, as well, with wow, dude. I think someone has a leaf blower, like, in your ear through your window right now.
They're supposed to do this on Tuesdays, not Wednesdays. I don't know what happened, but
no, we're good. We're good. I was trying to think. I'm ADHD. Is this? There's a glaring problem a little bit with our rush defense that got exposed, which is when we play someone with an elite running back as well as a good zone scheme that they actually moved away from too. So I can't even say that. There was a little bit of a problem. Like, Christian McCaffrey was getting whatever he wanted on those rushes for like 4 to 5 yards, if not more, on plays. We can go tighten that up. Like, that stuff with a young defensive line, I'm cool with. Like, we'll work on that. The Jesse Bates stuff is frustrating, though. Tell me your thoughts, and we'll put this game behind us, and we'll look to the future.
The last bit of things I'm going to have to say about this game is just the coaching was abysmal. I'm not sure what we're doing anymore because, they've shown that they know how to run this offense, and then they just disappear, and it's so absolutely frustrating. Again, this is my statement. If this continues to happen and this kind of stuff goes on, I want the head of Zach Robinson or Raheem Morris.
Yeah, and just remember, if Zach goes, it is a full sacrifice of the season if that happens, because next up play caller is TJ Yates for the Falcons, which hometown kid, Pope High School, great, but that's not who you want your offensive film. So if we do it, it's got to be really bad too, Kraemer. Like, we have a really hard schedule coming up too. We play the Dolphins next, we'll get into, but then we have to travel to New England and then go to Germany to play probably the best team in the league right now, which is the Colts. No one would have guessed that to start the season. They are.
That is truly terrifying. The Colts have been steamrolling right now, and it's terrible to see.
I can't stop laughing. It sounds like Kraemer is actually coming to you live from a Smoothie King where he's blending up a smoothie in the background. No, you're good. We'll get into it. Listen, let's look at this game. Falcons so far from a betting favorite standpoint, they're 7.5 points favorite playing Miami. Obviously, hopefully we win by multiple scores. We'd have to score to do that, so unlikely. But there's a lot of good to look forward to with this game, which is Tua has thrown 10 interceptions so far this season. He's about to be in a nightmare situation with his pass rush. Devine is, I'm assuming he's questionable. There's no way he's going to play at least this week, especially with the level of opponent we have, which there's no cupcake games for the Falcons anymore. We can't just look past the Dolphins because we did that against the Panthers and look what happened.
Have the Jets, but I agree at this point.
No, that's not a cupcake game either, dude. I refuse to sit back and be like, hey, we can look past this person to this person, not with this team.
I'm not looking past anybody anymore. I would like to see us play a D3 school and see what happens because I'm sick and tired of it. Notable injuries, though, going into this game is you just mentioned Diablo, so I thought I'd go ahead with this. So he has a forearm fracture.
Yep.
He's projected to be out 1 or 2 weeks, which, in my opinion, that just shows how crazy medical advances have come because what do you mean you fractured your forearm and he's going to be able to play in the NFL in 2 weeks?
Linebackers use their arms a pretty good amount if you don't know. They're pretty heavy on that.
The other notable injury on our offense would be Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews is day-to-day with an ankle injury. I don't know if you saw the pregame stuff that they show. They evaluate the players and stuff like that, all the talking heads. And they showed this custom brace that Jake Matthews has for his ankle. And
Iron Man shit, dude.
I truly believe that would fit on my elbow. That would be something designed for like my arm, because it was just a massive like blacksmith custom built.
Yeah, I mean, and the guy,
brace.
It literally looked like a piece of Iron Man suit. Totally is exactly what it looked like.
Yeah. And then the big issue here that I've already heard talks of him not playing is Michael Penix. He's day-to-day with a foot and ankle bruise. So listen to this. We go against Miami, right? And they're what, 1-6? They haven't been playing well. They are not going to have they're going to have Tua. Tua is still supposed to be the starter, allegedly, after that abysmal game he just had. Waddle is projected not to play. Waller is out as week to week, and he's confirmed out. No Tyreek Hill. They're not throwing the ball to anybody. I say if we are true about, trying to make a playoff run and we need this to win, but we also need Michael Penix healthy, who else better to end the beautiful month of October than Mr. Kirktober himself?
I mean, we've kept him on the roster and, like, assumingly nobody wants to pay his money. So if he's going to be here, then let's just freaking use him. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Kirk. He's going to throw a pick at some point. That's fine against this team, I would think. Again, I say stuff like this team, like they're weak, like we can do this. Like we can't. We need to go out and win the first quarter in a big way, which the Falcons play script for their first drive is always pretty good. So, Zach Robinson does his homework for one drive at least, and then he falls asleep. Yeah, I think truthfully, this game comes down to if the Falcons control the line of scrimmage and can stop Achane in the run, it's gonna be a pretty handily game. Don't know if that's an actual phrase. But we'll handle them well if we control the line of scrimmage. Because like you said, there's no one to throw to, and Tua has a noodle arm. So DB should have a great day. But again, it comes down to like the two things I really want to focus on for this game. Kraemer is like, I want to be able to see that the coaching staff can make proper plays. Like our 2-minute drills need to be crisp. If we don't make it down the field, like because of drops or something, or they make good plays, like whatever. But if we're down the field, like let's use our timeouts appropriately, not be a bunch of boneheads. And then besides the actual execution, which should be something we don't have to talk about, I want no false starts from the offense.
I want to see penalties go down significantly. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I know we've been hyped. We get excited about these games and then ultimately get let down in a lot of ways. And I've said this about the Panthers game, but this is it can't be more true than in this game. Two things. I want to see us win by 20 points. I don't think I even want to see them win by 20 points. I need them to win by 20 points. I think the fans need to see them win by 20 plus points. I really, knowing that we have the defense we have, I kind of want to see a shutout.
Yeah, I
don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No. But I want to see it. I need to see it. I need to see it.
We've been exposed with backup linebacker play as well as some running. So, like, I'm very interested to see how that's schemed up and played, like, from the very beginning of the game. If we stop that, then the likelihood of keeping them under 14 points is there. Now, the problem is I want to see us win by 20, but we have to score 20 to win by 20, at least, right? Yeah. That's where I'm like, okay, like, are we going to be able to do this with the wide receiver core we have and with the play calling we have? Like, I think Bijan's going to have a much easier time. If he doesn't have 20 carries, I'm going to be infuriated. But I also don't want to kill Bijan with like overload like Christian McCaffrey got done in Carolina
against, on paper, a bad team, right? And that being said, I fully expect a lot more use of Tyler Algier in this game. I want to see him, honestly.
Bowling ball.
If we can use Bijan more in the passing game and more for like those angry runs, use Tyler, like you said, I don't want to run Bijan into the ground because we're going to need him all season if we're going to have a chance at anything. That's exactly what we need to see.
We need to see the round mound of first downs. That's Tyler Algier. Put him in the third and shorts and let him just two-hand cover the ball like he loves to do and just bowling ball ahead for 3 yards.
I mean, we wanted to go crazy with running the ball against the freaking 49ers. So if you want to do that in this game and whatever. Like, people are going to be able to expose that defense. They don't really have anybody in that secondary. So it's about time we see exactly what, this is a perfect game unfortunately, for Zach Robinson's game script that he's been doing. So,
yeah. And also, like, when you look at the doom and gloom around our team with the coaching staff exits potentially happening, the Dolphins have so much more off the field issues that are over their heads. Like, Mike McDaniels is seemingly one game away from losing his job. Tua is one hit away from dying potentially. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's negative around them. For the first time in a while, we have a game where the headlines for a coaching staff are a lot worse for Miami than they are here, even though they are not good here either.
I am a lover of sports, a lover of the NFL, and I would never wish anything bad on someone's career, but I want us to blow Miami so out of the water that they fire McDaniels.
Wouldn't it be kind of nice, though? Think about this. If we really want Mike McDaniels as an OC, like, imagine a situation where we only win by like a field goal and Mike McDaniel dials up all this craziness that like makes our good defense look bad. They still lose. They fire him and they're like, oh, dude, Zach, you should have beat this team by 30. You're out of here. McDaniel, you got to offer. I don't know. Yeah. Like, there's a situation where my dream comes true a little bit.
My fantasy is we beat them so bad, Mike McDaniels gets fired right after the game, and Raheem Morris walks into the locker room with a contract ready already for him.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like, hey, bud, you don't even need to travel back. We got you, and keep Jalen over here too.
He goes, hey, we'll actually leave Zach here, and you can hop on the plane with us. Pack up your stuff. You're coming to Atlanta.
Yeah, Jalen comes with you, and
he has the swag for Atlanta too. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that fits the culture of a city? That guy,
he's kind of drippy,
his sense
dude.
of humor. He's drippy. He's hilarious. The man's vaping on the sidelines. Like, come on over, dude.
Yeah, we'd love to have you, dude. And when we say we'd love to have him, I want to reiterate, we do not want him to be our head coach, but we'd love for him to be our offensive coordinator. If you get Mike McDaniel, we've seen what he can do in a room when he's focused fully on offense, and it's impressive.
He was on our coaching staff once before. Why not have a little reunion tour, baby?
Predictions for the game. What do you think the final score is?
What do I think, or what do I want? I mean, what do I think?
What do you think the final score is going to be?
I just think the universe won't allow us to
enjoy a game.
The universe won't allow me as a Falcons fan to be happy about a game. So I'm going to conservatively think that it is going to be like 24-14, and I hope that we're on that side of the 24. And
you had my prediction almost there. I was gonna say 24-10. I do think we win by 2 touchdowns.
We need it. We need to if we're gonna have any sort of life brought back into this team. But the thing is, it's like even if we win this game by less than 20 points, like I said earlier, people are going to be like, geez, you guys couldn't blow out the Miami Dolphins. I mean, people aren't going to credit us with this win. People are going to be like, you guys are in trouble if you can't absolutely wreck that team. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I get it. We're in trouble. I think about it every single day. I get on a work call and I go off the work call and I think to myself, how are the Falcons going to be making me angry this weekend?
Yeah.
Think about now. It's just bad.
Verbal meme is just like Kraemer looking like Charlie Day with the spreadsheets all over the wall, examining how we're going to win or lose this game. It's pretty much how our lives and brains work, too. I think we're going to get it done. I have faith that we're going to win this game. I don't want us to look past it. And I mean, it really pisses me off because the Panthers are such little bro energy in general. And then to see them talking their talk after beating the Jets, who haven't won a game, it's like, oh, yeah, like you guys are really good. Carolina's got it coming, dude. They're going to go to a 3-game losing skid, and I can't wait to laugh and be like, yeah, like y'all thought you were them. You're not.
It scares me so much to think that there's a reality where the Falcons do something absolutely Falcon-like and lose to the Jets in a couple weeks. And if I'm looking so far ahead into game schedule and stuff, but
Yeah, it's like Jets are way out of here.
if we have trouble in that game too, we're gonna have to really fire somebody.
Yeah. Look, we were really ahead of ourselves when we picked the Falcons to win 13 games. Technically still possible. We'd have to win every game. We're not going to.
Window is not closed.
Yeah. So here's the rest of the schedule, and this is what I really think is going to happen. If we look ahead to the entire schedule for the rest of the season, I think the Falcons have a chance to win. Obviously, have a chance to win every game, but I think we're going to win, unfortunately, 6 more games. I think we're going to end with 9 wins. As I look, I think you're going to win the Dolphins, Panthers, because it's going to be a hate revenge game. Saints, Jets, Cardinals, Saints. And then you got some toss-up games because, Seahawks have to come here. They travel well, but we're playing them at 1 o'clock, which is great because that's, 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. their time from Seattle. We'll see, man. I'm very nervous that we're going to have another classic Falcons season at this juncture where we win 8 games and get a crappy draft pick, and we're tough.
The way a lot of the way things have been going as well is just with the other teams in the NFL, a lot of good teams are winning. So even with those 9 wins, I don't see us being able to even smell a wild card spot.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it doesn't help that Ray McLeod, who we've not mentioned yet, is no longer with the team after being released from seemingly just not wanting to play for the Falcons. I hope that it's not something really detrimental happening in his personal life. Obviously, we don't wish that on anybody. And obviously, there's a mental load that comes with playing in the NFL too. I hope that's not the case. But really hate a guy kind of quitting on the team is what it seems like. And that's a really bad culture look.
Somebody who I was so high on too is not just a player, but personality, a guy that goes out to the fans and is part of the community. I went to, that fan rally before the season started, and he was there giving a speech about how happy he was to play with the Falcons and how blessed he is and how much the city has embraced him. But I think that might be part of the problem. I mean, just from the speculations and things I've heard on the internet, and I'm not trying to start any rumors or whatnot.
Right.
He's been out partying or going a little crazy and just not complying with teams that the rules that the team has set. And it's funny because you want to hold Ray accountable for not doing things.
Yeah, a lot of accountability in one direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to
I've also heard Ray. Look, he's wide receiver 3 in a system that doesn't throw the ball to their wide receiver 3. I think there's some frustration with that as well. He's frustrated with the offense. The answer is never to quit on a team. So if that is the actual case and he is just so frustrated, he's like, I want to be a free agent and get out of here, I will never cheer for Ray ever again or anyone that quits on a football team.
There's one guy. My final take on everything. I feel like we've already kind of, set up our final stuff here of done talking about the Falcons for right now, but the one thing I want to leave off with is there is one name that hit the waiver wire this past week because he wanted to go to a team that's going to win games and he has the ability to make an impact, and that is veteran wide receiver Tyler Lockett. Get him.
Now, he's very veteran. I mean, it does seem like a play where you don't have to pay this guy much, and he could potentially make an impact. And if not, as a wide receiver 3, how much worse could it be than Casey Washington?
And I don't want to discredit Casey Washington. He has come clutch in a lot of games so far this season.
He's also dropped a lot of important passes. I mean, I'm not talking about him as a person, but production on the field wise, he's dropped big passes that have hit him in the hands, and he's ran incorrect routes that have frustrated Penix and Zach. Now, he hustles a ton, blocking down the field on plays. I absolutely love that about Casey Washington. And he wins points in everyone's mind for being the guy who's going to go out there and block downfield, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But, dude, I mean, when you're getting thrown to on 3rd down at the sticks and you panic, drop a ball because you don't want to get hit, you can't play in the NFL. That's
Absolutely.
just that. You can't have that. All right, this game's behind us. Miami's coming down. Let's get to 285, talk a little bit about what's going around the league so we can all stress about the Dolphins for the rest of the week.
Let's go ahead and talk about, another positive note, another team that can either hype us up for the week or disappoint us. That is starting as we record Wednesday, starting tonight against the Toronto Raptors, your Atlanta Hawks, baby.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Hawks. Honestly, like we go back to from that conversation we had with Beach, there's a few things you really want to focus on, which is like Shay's involvement early in the season. We want him to come out to a hot start. He played really well in the preseason. Him, Porzingis, Jalen Johnson, and Trae Young's chemistry is going to be a development we need to watch as this goes on, as well as when Nah comes in for Trae and how he plays. Tonight, like, don't be surprised if the Hawks do leave here with an L. We're playing in Houston, is that right?
Well, no, because we're against the Toronto Raptors.
Or the Raptors. I'm sorry. Are we in Toronto? Yeah, my bad. Actually, I take it all back because I actually did think we were playing Houston tonight. No, we're playing the Raptors. This should be a good start to the season for the Hawks to get a win. I think it's actually in Atlanta, too. Yep, in Atlanta. So all wrong. Looking ahead, obviously. This should be a good foundational start. And then, like we talked about, we might be having Connor come back on next week to talk a little bit about that Friday game we have against the Magic, which will be a really good, hopeful Eastern Conference preview of some of the top teams early on in the season. Really exciting stuff. Yeah, I was thinking we were playing Houston. I'm like, yeah, with KD back and Jabari and Aiden all playing so well, just don't be surprised. No, this should theoretically be a win if we play the right game.
Yep. And, definitely more to come with the season starting there. However, we also huge signing right before the season starts. So we got Dyson Daniels, all defensive guard for what was it?
We just extended him. So he was he's 4 years, $100 million. The biggest conversation that was being had in the front office too was his team was trying to get an extension for $150 million for 5 years. And that was the problem with where Atlanta was, is like they were not willing to pay him 150. So coming in at 100 for 4 is kind of a win for both sides, especially the front office for the Hawks, who are going to have to need some of that cap room to pay Trae, which his contract, he's up for a max at the end of the season. Sounds like we're not going to reach conversations with Trae during the season, which I'm kind of okay with as long as it's not a distraction. Sounds like they're trying their best to focus on the season. I really hope we make a deep run and we can handle Trae accordingly. But the Hawks have a bright future, and I'm really excited to watch this game tonight.
Yeah, same. And now some news with Atlanta United. This actually happened shortly. There's not much as, the season comes to an end, but huge news coming out from Atlanta United. Our keeper that we've had since Atlanta United started in 2017 has announced his retirement. Brad Guzan, 41 years old. He's been hopping around for a while, but he's been on Atlanta United for 8 years. And he is in a league of his own. I mean, he has done such a service for this city. When he started, I mean, the first year we were a team, he helped lead us to a championship. And, and the thing is, us being a city that was so new to soccer, everyone was like, oh, the MLS must just be that easy for us to be able to walk in with the new team and win it. No, that's not the case at all. MLS is a lot harder than people give it credit for. However, just, want to thank him for his service.
Yeah, man.
He's been around for a minute. Great career. I will just leave the Atlanta United news of him retiring with a story of the very first Atlanta United game I ever went to was, I can't remember who we were playing, but I was so excited to see, what all the hype was about, because it was the season after they won. I go to a game, and sure enough, I believe it was before the half, he is frustrated that we're losing, and he comes out of the box to a player that was clear as day with the ball about to score, and he comes out like Cam Scattaboo in pistol formation and headbutts the guy and immediately gets ejected from the game.
That's awesome, dude.
That was my introduction to Atlanta United as a team, and I was like, yeah, this team's going to do perfect in this city.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. If you're going to go watch a losing game, or God forbid a 0-0 soccer game, like, at least watch some guys really get after it. That's fun, dude.
I've been to 5 Atlanta United games, and they have never won when I was in attendance. So that I might need to just stay at home and watch on TV.
Yeah, maybe for my first game, I'll go alone and hopefully see a win.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
We got any news coming from the Braves yet?
Still retirement stuff with Snit. It's been kind of quiet as the postseason is still going to the World Series, where I am just like hoping that the Blue Jays can knock the series. Is so annoying.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. I don't want to get into it.
Right. I just saw something online where people were like, well, we know who America's rooting for in this series. And it was, how they show a map of America. And
it's Canadian flag.
Well, no, it was the Dodgers logo across all of America. And somebody quoted it and was like, I think you're wrong. And they showed Toronto across the United States, like the Blue Jays, and then had the Dodgers like all the way like in LA. And it was just California rooting for them. And I was like, yeah, dude,
I'll be honest,
nobody wants to see
I might root for the Taliban if they were playing the Dodgers. Like that's like the level of hatred I have for that team. So, no, I'm not about it. I'm not about it. I hope they get swept. They're probably going to win. We're going to have to watch Freddie's fake veneers smiling on TV. It is what it is, dude. I think there's a jetliner landing in your backyard now. Probably a good time for us to shout it out here. I know we've already got a lot of content in here, so thanks everybody for listening. One thing I want to say is this last pod we released last week, we were very shocked to come on here and see that we almost had 100 listeners across the platform for that one episode. We really, really appreciate people checking this out because we have a lot of fun doing this, and we really just do it for the fun of it, to spend time talking about this and to see that other people are enjoying this and getting some enjoyment out of talking about the Falcons, whether it's us venting frustration or laughing about success or failure. We really do appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day to check us out. So thank y'all so much.
Yeah. Nothing puts a smile on my face more than getting text messages from, the people that are listening that I didn't even know were listening, but will comment and, text and say, hey, you guys, I love this part. You guys are killing it. Keep going at it. And like you said, we just do this for fun. And if you guys are having fun with us, we absolutely love to see it. But, as I always say, before this jet lands in my yard, speaking of which, whether you flew here or you grew here, I appreciate you. Kenny appreciates you. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Rise up, baby.
Yeah! ATL on the rise, you know how we do. Beach tree dreams, dirty birds flying through. From the gridiron to the diamond, courts to the pitch. We reppin' ATL sports, every team, every niche. ATL, where the flames ignite. From Truist Park to the bins at night. Dreams take flight, hearts soar high. United we stand, reaching for the sky.